Today, I want to just give a real story about a couple people I know who are, in fact, uh, having to deal with the mass layoffs happening with the federal government as a part of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE organization, and then Donald Trump as well. So, this is just my perspective of what's happened. I'm just going to keep it to facts and an interesting point in history that I wanted to document. I don't work for the government myself, so I am not affiliated, but I do know people who I know fairly well, and they have been affected because they work for the government as federal employees. So if you're not familiar, you should be, but as a very quick crash course recap, basically, Elon Musk has been heading this new Department of Government Efficiency ever since Trump was elected, and he's been doing a lot of work to essentially find waste and cut it. And so that has included mass layoffs, tens of thousands of employees across many government departments. Now, I'm just going to give you a boots to the ground story of a couple people. I can't commentate on anything outside my expertise much, but I can tell you these stories. So we have two differing stories. One is a person who's pretty young, freshly out of school. And with this person, the effects sucked because they and their peers were doing pretty well. They're getting good feedback from their managers, their bosses. One of her peers was actually very upset when he found out, because he had literally just gotten a bunch of documented praise in a performance review. Now, these are people who are freshly out of school, maybe 1 year out of school, half a year. And so it is kind of shocking and jolting when all of a sudden, maybe it's your first job and you get let go. And now all of a sudden, you're back into the tumult of things where you're unemployed, you still have to pay for rent and groceries, and then yet you still haven't found your next job. So I would say it's been tough for them, and that group of people who all work for the government, they were very shocked and upset about it. They did a lot to support each other. They sent each other resources for finding jobs, but it is a very chaotic time, and there's a lot of negative pain, but also many of them are pretty resilient. They're really not taking it too bad. They're keeping calm about it. They know they're very young, and then they just got to move on and find the next thing. But it really does suck because the older senior people, the managers and so forth, from what I've heard, they're just really upset about this. Some say it's not legal to just mass lay off people in waves, like every week, and then just say how they said it to deliver the news, which is literally just telling everyone for performance reasons. So they're claiming there will be lawsuits, but even if there are lawsuits, they still are gone. So it is really tough for all of them. A lot of them have some level of outrage, but for the most part, these young people, they're resilient. They're not letting it get to them. They're upset about it, but it is what it is. They may think it's BS, but they know they're young, and they're going to try their best to find additional work. Now, I actually did some research on the history of what massive layoffs can do to the economy. And from what I found in U.S. history, dating back 100 years, if there's a lot of layoffs that happen in a short period of time, that can trigger or accentuate the economy to go into a decline. It can snowball into a decline. Now, is that going to be the case? I don't know. Is that enough to really spur a decline? Well, it really depends on if they're able to find jobs quickly. And that's a supply and demand question that's beyond my pay grade. But if a lot of them are unable to find jobs quickly and get those empty positions staffed because of the new demand, then it can get a little tumultuous and affect the economy. Now, there have been massive tech layoffs in the past as well. So it's not new, it's just a different brand of that with the government. And when I would say there was a big wave of tech layoffs a year or two ago. At the time, it was really shocking. A lot of people were crying about it. But these young people, especially the ones who had marketable skills and invested in themselves, they were able to find new jobs. So I do want to give props to these young people I've seen who have been affected, because while some are more upset than others, they seem to have quickly picked themselves up, kept calm, and done whatever it took to continue to move forward, even if that means applying to jobs at Starbucks or whatever is nearby. All right, so that's one story. And then the other one is with people who are older aged and so forth. This one, I'll just keep it very short and stick to the facts. And that's when you're more established and up there, it can be definitely more difficult, or it could be better. And so if you lose that job, obviously, if you're still trying to find work, it can be tough. And in some situations, you can actually, if you're already looking to retire, it could be a good way out. So with this other situation, what I found is that it just so happened to be a situation where they were looking to retire anyway. So it ended up working out. The government was nice enough to offer a deferred resignation retirement thing where you would still get a few months of pay depending on what department and position. I heard it's like it can range from like 2 months to like several months of basically paid full-time paid salary while you're not working. And this is really only something that you would check if you are in that retirement camp. So a lot of the young people just did not qualify for that, or they had the option of checking it, but this was before they heard about the waves of layoffs, and so they didn't check it. But the older folks, it could work out for them if they're already looking to get out of there. So for me, it was at first I thought it was a great thing. I saw Elon doing a lot to really clean the gutter, and like he does in the private sector, where he did with Twitter, where he just like realized there was way overstaffed. He's making a business much more profitable and effective by reducing a lot of expenses. But he has been known to be pretty ruthless with it, and perhaps he has to be to do what he does as the business owner. But obviously it can be much harsher, and it's not the only way of succeeding in business. There's plenty of other business owners, CEOs, like Jensen Huang, who do not believe in as much as in firing employees as much as really making sure they're the most effective as possible. And so I get where he's coming from. You gotta cut the bottom 10%. It's a big Jack Welch thing to keep your organization from being bloated. But the rate and speed he's doing it, which I also understand why he's doing it, it can be really harsh and really tough. And I can see why a lot of people are upset, because it is their livelihood. And so now they've made Elon or Trump the enemy because of it. So where do you go from here? I don't know. I am not an expert at any of this. I just wanted to share some boots to the ground stories about it. And it is rather unfortunate because a lot of people are probably going to be let go or whatnot. Not because they didn't respond to the emails, but because they just still fell into that category of being cut as part of the waste. And some of them felt like they were doing good work, and if they felt like it was unjust. Others, I don't know. I don't know how they feel. But those are some stories. I think it really does kind of suck for them. All I can do is wish them the best, help them out if they ever ask for advice or if I see any opportunities or connections, and essentially, wish them the best of luck. And, hopefully they stay positive and they learn something from this, because it's not, I personally think every problem is an opportunity for growth that can make you better. Someone who's always, let's say, handed their jobs, as Barbara Cochran of Shark Tank says, like a rich kid is not going to have the same grit and determination and resilience and open-mindedness that someone who came from a poor background did, who has had to wait tables or work at Starbucks or McDonald's to make ends meet, and build that perseverance to succeed in this world. So I think at the end of the day, it really does suck for them, but I really wish them the best, and maybe that's the silver lining. Hey, maybe it will be kind of tough because, the job you had lined out at college, you don't have it anymore, but, maybe you're still in the US of A, one of the best places to find work. I mean, there's immigrants illegally trying to claw in and dig in and sneak into this country every second of every day because of how much career opportunities and upward mobility there is compared to other economies. So while in the moment, I think it's hard to be grateful. I think that's what I'll tell them. You're still in a great place. There's a lot of opportunity. Don't give up. And then, especially for the older folks, I believe some of them may feel that even harder, especially if they still have children or grandchildren to support. But they also have more skills, more stuff on their resume they can use, more ability to find a job. And then there's the ones who are ready for retirement and they just found this as a good opportunity to make that move when they got the notice. So I don't know. It is what it is. Very interesting times, and that's it. That's all I want to say.